Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this Warno 4v4 game. Today we're on Valley, I think it's called. This is classed as a 3v3 map. We've got PACT versus NATO as per the usual. 119th, 9th East German, 27 and 79 Soviet. Going up against 4th, 4th Dutch, 2nd UK, 101st American and 11th American. So in terms of the... Oh, mate. Hello and welcome to this Warno 4v4 game played on Valley. Today we've got 119th Y, 9th East German, 27 and 79 Soviet against 4th Dutch, 2nd UK, 101st and 11th American. So in terms of the map, like this is basically supposed to be a 2v2 map. The game classes as a 3v3 map and then people play it as a 4v4 map. Basically, these are the only two middle zones, so most of your effort at the start should be focused on taking these zones. You just leave like a picket line here, right? And then once you've got these two zones, then you can start fighting over this properly. But essentially, you should be putting most of your effort where the points are. That's just the way it works, and not putting much on the sides. Sadly, the way people always play this is they always say, well, I will just put two here and two here because big gap, and it's just a lack of understanding. Basically, this is where the zones are, this is where you should be fighting. Attacking Charlie or Delta is very hard, so you just put some units there to defend at the midpoint. If they start breaking through, you put more there, but most of your push should be coming if you're on this side, right? Most of your push should be coming for hotel, and you should be trying to get hotel, and you can do that by fighting here, Obviously, you've got to then protect your flanks, right? So this becomes important because if you're trying to push this, you've got to at least have this, or up to here. Has to be empty, and you just help in hotel and worry about this later. It's just a lack of understanding, basically. I always see people put loads of people over here. There's no zone there. It doesn't matter. So, looking at the deployments, generally you'd expect PAC to have a big advantage here because they can just spam out the MLRS. And I would have expected to see a 9th East German napalm barrage at the start, like here or here, in order to cut off the enemy forces. You can afford to do that in a 4v4, opening napalm barrage. Ah, he's done it. And he's even got a CV for it, which is a bit over the top, actually. I mean, it depends if... Yeah, okay, so I was going to say, if somebody's taken Charlie, then yes, you can buy the CV for this. It's very sensible. Make it reload faster. So, looking at the deployments, yeah, we got 27Y on the far left, 9th East German in the middle bit here, 119th in mid, and then 79Y on the right. I mean, really, you'd want the 9th player because he's basically got the best infantry of the bunch here on this side, so he can help fight in the forest and use more of the forest angle. But it is what it is. Instead, he's got T-72s in the open, which they're decent, but they're not as good as the T-80s that every other div on his team gets. In general, the composition's quite weak. You'd want one forward deployed div to get these points early, like the other team does with 2nd UK, but they've not done that. So, yeah, I mean, we're not going to read out every single unit. It just takes ages, but generally they're sending a couple flanking units around the side there on the left. You got some AA. It is smart to put the Cub divisions in the middle so that their Cubs can cover everybody, but I mean, there's 3 Cub divisions here, so it's not really a big deal. And yeah, some units for the right. Quite a few coming just to secure this. And that's 79Y trying to secure a forested area. 9th East German would have been a much better shout to put there. They've just got better infantry. Switching to their opponent's deployment. The draft is decent. I mean, 2nd UK for the forward deployment, 4th Dutch for the throwing, 101st US for the throwing, and 11th Cav for the actually good tanks. So the draft is not good at all. I'd swap out the the 101st for a third armoured. You still get the Apaches, and you get tanks that actually work. And the 4th Dutch, I'd swap out for 5th Panzer Division, but people like to play it because it's new, right? So, looking at, yeah, the deployment, so they've put the 2nd UK player on the left, which is very intelligent, because he can use his infantry to fight up here. Although he's not opted to put a single unit up here. Like, you should really be putting 1 unit up here at the start, just to cover this, this area of the map. He's not doing that. He's put 1 here in case they come around this way. You'd want it right here, basically. And yeah, then next to him, to the right of him, we've got 101st Airborne taking the brunt in the centre. And he's opened 250mm. Is it just? It's just going to be one of those games, isn't it? You do not open 2 heavy tube artillery unless you've got a very well thought out smoke strategy, right? These are not going to have targets for the first 2 minutes, so you've just wasted your time buying those, and your initial push is going to be very, very weak. And they've put their least open ground pilled division in. I mean, I get that it's towns and stuff, but yeah, you really want... This is a very important part of the map. Then we've got... Okay, so the 11th Cav player is helping in Hotel, which is good. And he's open with a bunch of Air Cav troopers. And then the 4th Dutch player is... is playing over here where there's no zone. So he's playing a very, very defensive game here. I don't agree with this at all. Okay, so that's a supply for this town. What? This is a fairly nonsensical deployment. Basically, this is the middle of the map. Your unit should not be back here. Unless the enemy's got really heavy forward deployment, and you know he's going to rush you with the forward deployment. They do have some forward deployment in the form of the 119Y player, who's done a masterful job trying to get these early places, so credit to him. But yeah, this is just a waste of a deployment. This is really bad, actually. So you've got 4 Stingers sat around not doing anything, TOW 2 sat around not doing anything, this thing, a bunch of Leopard 1s, and they're all not going to be doing anything. This is crazy. You hate to see it, honestly. This is a really bad deployment. Basically, this game's just going to be a 3v4. Until this guy gets his stuff in position. So, yeah, that's not fantastic. Anyways, we'll cast the game, and we'll see how it goes. Right, so they're off, and it's time to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. Great way to support the channel. I am about to become unemployed, so it is very helpful. Buying an Eagle at the start is a good idea. But there are, you know, cubs back here, so I wouldn't be just flying it over the enemy spawn. Also, this guy bought this napalm launcher and then didn't use it, which is very odd, actually. I mean, he spent, you know, literally half his, or at least a third of it, more than a third of his deployment, almost half of his deployment on these 3 things, and then he just didn't fire with it at the start. So that's not fantastic. I mean, he should have been trying to hit one of these spawn roads. I assume that's why he was buying it. But yeah, I'm really not sure about this at all. Just... like, why? There's so much map here that your units could be in. Taking that at the start, but no, this is it's not looking good for blue, really. I mean, they've got the Foxes in position. Like, if this doesn't unload, yeah, he's losing guys in the transports here. But it, I mean, I suppose this guy is also not helping his team at all. The 27Y player. But he's at least going for the middle of the map with his stuff, as opposed to just sitting back here in the town at the back of the map, not doing anything. Basically, you got to think about... Okay, so we did actually send a unit here, but he sort of dropped it in a really bad place. You always want it near the cover, right? So you can get to the cover as fast as possible. People still buy F1 and FHE. I'm not sure why. Napalm Grad's finally out. So... it looks like he's putting all 40 rounds in one place, which is not good either. The Airmobile Scouts goes down as would be expected. Although this actually is the 9th player. Okay, so that is a bit weird. So The ninth player has done the right thing in the fact that he should be on this side, yeah, but it is kind of strange in that half of his units are over here, and half of them are over here. Because that means that he will really struggle to micro, because you got to keep switching between them, and that's going to get him killed. Generally, you want to, you want to keep it together. The second UK player has done a pretty decent job here. He's got some really good forward positions. He's taken the middle of the zone. He's got that zone there. In terms of this map, I prefer red side. Blue side is very, very open. And you see here that big J is being flanked because red pushed the middle at the start at least, whereas this guy just put all his stuff in the town. Like, you look at the range of the Stinger, this isn't where the combat's happening. Combat's going to be up here, so you want this up here. The iHawk purchase is good. I would have bought two. Yeah, you see that these started firing after about 2 minutes because he didn't have targets. So he's getting kills there, right? But he could have just bought it now, as opposed to buying it before. Yeah, Terriers in Saracens. I don't know about the Saracen. I mean, it's got smoke, but you can't sell the vehicle, and I'm not... I mean, it's only got an MMG. If I had a HMG, it'd be really good, right? It doesn't. It is wheeled. I don't know, it might be worth it. It just depends if you can micro... Because obviously MMG's got a range buff, right? But yeah, they... don't know about buying Saperi for this. Typically you'd want meta squads for this kind of area. Like, how's your Saperi going to help you? Also, he just ran one into that C&V and it died, and now he's just running the next one in. Okay. Napalm Grad's reloading. And yeah, Blue's taken mid somehow. I mean, I suppose this Kesselring guy wasn't really helping his team either, but yeah. So, not a whole lot happening here. So, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, right? If you're gonna... You gotta focus on where the zones are. So you see, I suppose this was basically like a 2v3 in mids, because Rosenman and Kawan are doing the work. And then you've got Piotr over here. Or Piotr or whatever. And then you've got Kesselring back here. So even though this team had one player not doing anything, this team had two players not doing enough. Because, I mean, he is here, but this isn't where the zone is. It's good that he took the ground. That's very important, taking the ground at the start. And then, yeah, this Piotr guy, like, he spent all his points on this napalm and this infantry. The infantry took this, right? But this isn't a zone, so this is the zone. So really, you should have put, like, 2 units here. The ATGM and the Aufklärer, and everybody else should have deployed here, and then they could be running down here and taking all this, and then once they've done that, Blue can't reinforce this zone anymore because you've got all this. You could just shoot them. Seeds out. It got a Strela somehow? It's not a seedable thing, something else must have killed that. Anyway, the Napalm Grad isn't good against buildings. You want to use it against vehicles, and you only really want to put 20 rounds on one target and then cancel it. This is pretty intelligent gameplay from Czarface here. Hopefully he, well, depending on who you're rooting for, hopefully he sees those fobs, which would have actually been Red's big advantage over the course of this game, being able to spam the MLRS. 4 mortars is a bit of an overkill, and like these could be counter batteried quite easily with 1 Acacia. So the Chinook's probably going to die there, but it's seen 2 of them already. So that's 2 fobs revealed. I didn't see him ping the fob positions, but he has just bought this artillery piece. So presumably he marked it somehow, but I mean I didn't see him ping the position, so maybe not. That thing does have a pretty juicy splash, but I mean, it is dead. You want to send the seed out in that instance, although I suppose he did. The seed was over here. The bomb was over here. So yeah, over here, I mean, Blue's now moved his guys up, which is great to an extent. I'm really not sure what's going on here. But they don't really need to. I mean, this second UK player has done such a good job here. And the 11th Cav player's done a good job too. So smoke's coming out here, presumably to put the CV in. And yeah, I mean, it's just a BMP3 bailed out crit, but like, why are they disembarking in the open like that? It's not really where they want to be. Leopard 2A4B can die in one hit to a 30 AP missile, which is every AT plane in the game except the T8M on 27Y, which you very rarely see because it's not very good, and you get a better one on the same division. And yeah, second UK is pushing this because, I mean, this is 79Y, whereas the ninth player, I'm not really sure. Like, what is he doing? He's just spamming artillery. Right, I mean, he's got some T-72s. And yeah, over here, as you can see, it just takes ages for this to go one way or the other. So what you do is you just defend the mid with a couple units, and you put everything into this point to make sure this point is secured. But neither player really opted to do that. And now you've got this 27Y player, who's got quite short-range arty, which he's not really moved up, trying to push all the way over to here, which is just not going to happen. He'd be much better off securing this, and then hitting this, and just doing a, like, 1.5 versus 1 here on Big J. Although I suppose the 101st player is here as well, actually. So yeah, this is basically 2v1 on K1, and then Zarface is going off on Rosenman. And yeah, there's just sort of like a fundamental misunderstanding in terms of, like, this is where the zones are, this is where you need to play. You don't just be like, I got the lane brain. If you're the only sensible person on your team, what you can do is you can say, I will take this part, right? And they'll let you deploy there. And you just deploy a few units there and deploy the rest over here to help your team. They probably won't thank you for it, but it will help you win the game. And same, you know, if you're on the red side. You should have just put a few units here. Like, he got mid for free because the blue guy just deployed in his own town. And then you put the rest into here and help your team out, right? I mean, he's actually got a couple units there. Imagine if he had a tank here shooting across, you know? But, yeah, I don't know. It's not fantastic. Like, it's difficult to keep CVs in these zones because they're quite easily sniped. There's really only a few places you can hide. This one's a bit better, but here there's like, especially if you're on this red side, you can put it in this tower, I suppose. But yeah, on this one, whoever owns this side part wins this zone, and Zarface seems to understand that, and the red guys don't. I don't know, the second UK player, he's just carrying. I mean, he's winning this zone, and he's winning over here, so... Oh, man, So this guy, he bought 2 RM70s, and they're not doing anything to keep them together and keep a CV with them. Obviously, this isn't his, but... now they're buying burritos. Anything other than tanks, like, PACT should really be winning this map. They've got the long-range AA, they got the long-range AT, in terms of the AT gems and stuff. They have the RT advantage. I believe they're on the better side, simply because it's easier to hide CVs here. And it's like, this is just a nice flat field where you can be spotted. But they're just making very poor purchasing decisions, like buying Gvozdika. They need to buff it before you just ever buy that. It's just bad. And this isn't a Katsia, but this guy's literally spent all of his money on artillery. And meanwhile, his teammates are dying on the front line because there's just not enough here. This guy's just literally just bought 2 burritos in a row. Got some people clumping up T80 BVs here. And that goes down, both of them, to the F-16s. I mean, really, the AA should be a bit closer, but... I mean, Red's front line's basically collapsed here. I suppose this was supposed to be that Kesselring guy's job. But yeah, so he took the mid at the start. He basically got it for free, and then he just kept pushing over this open field into this town, which is just not going to work. The zone is here. Go for this. And now he's being counter pushed. I'm not really sure where all his points have gone, to tell you the truth. I mean, he sort of put a bunch of BMP3s in the open and lost them all, and then I saw something similar happen here. Blue's starting to lose a lot of units now because of the RT. You see, it's very difficult to keep CV in here once your enemy have lots of RT. And the fact that that second UK player, he got the Chinook around here, it definitely could have seen this one. It was about here, so it could probably see this one as well. But he didn't ping him, he wasn't paying attention. Yeah, you hate to see it. So this castle ring guy, I mean, he's been throwing a lot. He just needs to set up a defensive line here now. The problem he's making for his team by falling back this far is that then this great fisherman can push left and sort this zone out. Pushing these two is basically a monumental waste of time. So yeah, you see those flanks beginning to come in here. Thought I was going to get him then. These are very, very powerful, mainly because of the ATGM. 21 pen, 2,800 meter range, 65% accuracy, and they're really fast. It's very, very, very good. So burrito's out. These fire once every like 5 minutes, so he's going to get 2 units for that. Don't worry, he bought a second one. And the TA-BVK, hopefully the T-72s come and support him, or the burritos, but yeah, he's getting side shots off there. Oh, don't reverse. Oh, he's reversing out now. So he's going to... Oh no, I see, there's a second one here. And yeah, you see the power of these ATGMs. I mean, he's got to be bringing some supply with him. He's got some back here. Meanwhile, yeah, looks like Rathpath is going to have his go at trying to find those fobs. You got to try and find those fobs if you're NATO, especially on a map this wide. It's very easy to do, right? They could send somebody this way as well. And PACT have made no attempt to defend them. They call it the tragedy of the commons, basically. If everybody has a fob and somebody is supposed to defend the fob, nobody defends the fob. It's like that chicken that makes the bread, you know. Everybody wants to eat, nobody wants to make the bread. Everybody wants to buy fobs, nobody wants to defend them. It's basically a one-to-one analogy. Anyway, you know, this infantry could run across this field, and that's bad news. Engine destroyed crit, so he can't dodge the bomber now, which he'll probably survive anyway, but the problem is the arty should now be coming in here. And blue, I remember they had 4 mortars. You just smoke mortar this, and then you can get the supply up. You really need to get this engine fixed, or it's just going to die. Over here, this Kesselring guy, yeah, I don't think he's realised the situation he's in. He just keeps over-pushing. He needs to build a defensive line here. This guy just hasn't been spending his points. It's like, what a liability. This is why I don't like playing team games. At least when I'm playing a 1v1, I can blame RNG. Obviously, I'd never blame myself. But in a team game, you just get these people, and you're just like, man, you're definitely a person. Anyway, it looks like blue are going to try and break through here. They've actually got a pretty decent teamwork going on here. They got 3 players trying to push this into 2. I mean, this Piotr guy actually bought a bunch of T-72s. The burritos, I mean, like, he's just wasting them. He needs targets. That got side shot. Gvozdika's not shooting. If red defend this properly, like, you know, actually unload the units and spread out a bit, get something there, then they should be fine, but this is out of rounds, and these guys are all here. These are getting side shot. And yeah, this is sort of the problem that you get when you when the enemy pushes you so far, right? Then yeah, you get side shot. So that's why I was saying you should just keep it low intensity, keep it in the mid, keep it low intensity. If you gotta fall back a bit, sure, you gotta fall back a bit, but basically a lot of the effort from the teams should have gone into securing the points, which actually matter, as opposed to just open ground here. But the blue players seem to just have a better mechanical skill than the red players. Like, they're not just spamming out RT. Like, it's way too much RT here. Way too much RT here. I mean, a couple more is for smoke, I don't fault you. One Akatsuya, one RM70. Maybe even two RM70s, but... You know, I mean, this guy's front line's being attacked and he's just bought two Akatsuyas. Yeah, you don't want to buy your RT too fast, basically. And basically this one fob isn't actually enough to keep all this going. One fob you will run out of, like 2 grads will drain one fob. So he should have updated this one and just had one. You know, the Akatsuyas are fair enough, really. So blue's getting artillery bullied quite a lot here. Oh no, why is he going forwards? Shouldn't be going forwards here. But yeah, the smoke is interesting. I mean, I suppose he has to go forwards because of the smoke, but now he's going to get stunned up by all his Pentagranadeers. Basically, with their 10... oh, there you go. He's definitely seen the fobs this time. Although he's put them on move orders, and he's still not pinging them. And they're not pinging them. They're not shooting them, and they're not pinging them. I mean, yeah. Basically, in this case, if you're red, you want to reposition to the side here with your tanks and shoot this and this with your 10 million artillery pieces. Just dedicate and made 2 of them. Maybe these 2 Akatsuyas, which could have been 2 extra T-80BVs here. One could be put on this one could be put on this one, and there you go. Then you can't smoke off all your tanks, but... yeah, there's not a whole lot of sense in this game. What the hell are they doing? That's a helicopter, you can't artillery it. Right now, finally, they've been paying in. They've seen this. This is the 3rd time they've seen these fobs. He's pinged one of them. Will he ping the other one? I mean, he's shooting it. He can take out all those fobs. All those fobs. He's not queued up the move order. So, yeah. I like the smoke play. It could be easily countered. And then the infantry should really be in the town as opposed to running over the open field into the... past the smoke into the enemy, you know. Just really bad micro here, like what? This man does not understand the situation he's walking into. I'm not getting over there. Akatsuya's now shooting. Now trying to snipe infantry in the open with corrected shot. That fob went down, but they didn't ping this one. I guess they'll see it when they get over to here. In mid, red's got it. And now they have to focus on this side. They need to help their teammates out. Some helicopters. Like, obviously there are stingers here, but there are no stingers here, so a helicopter here would be very useful, right? It's back here somewhere. I do like the fact that he's keeping the stingers in pairs, because it means that, you know, you have a chance to shoot the helicopter before they can respond. And, yeah, you know, like, these mortars could be counter-batteried. Oh, okay, so he's... no, he's not going for that second one. He's going for BMP2. There we go. They finally seen that. I mean, he's literally pinged it wrong. That's... One must maintain one's composure. But yes, when you're trying to snipe a fob with artillery, you know, the dispersion circle isn't very big, so you got to make sure you click on the fob when you place the marker. I know that's really hard. I know that's like beyond, like that's like a 1% top player thing, clicking on the enemy unit as opposed to missing it. I know it's difficult, but you got to try really hard to click on that fob exactly so that you can artillery it properly. But yes, I suppose if they... okay, so they just... right, so this guy is just hitting where the actual fob is. So the burritos are back up. I can't believe it's been 5 minutes. I feel like it's been about 3 centuries. And yeah, just not enough Cubs here, really. I mean, they have the power to just no-fly zone this whole thing, but they're not doing it. I do think Blue are a bit silly-billy to be diving this deep with their planes. I appreciate that he killed that T-80BB. And yeah, there's just not a whole lot of teamwork on the red side. Like, they need help here, clearly. They're winning this zone, so they should now be transferring their efforts over to here, but they're not doing that. So Blue are getting in, slowly but surely. The smoke could probably do with being moved up now, so now you smoke here and here, and then you can kill you isolate the enemies at the front of the town. But yeah, it's not looking great for Red now. I mean, they're on that +2 in mid, like they're winning in mid bigly, mainly because, you know, most of the enemy troops are on the right here. But yeah, I don't know, people just not really playing the map quote-unquote correctly. Like, this was a lot of effort to get up to the edge of the zone and not yet get in the zone, and all that effort cost them the 2 middle zones, which they were already holding. The thing is, though, Blue are going to start pulling ahead because Red's are not going to be able to shoot their artillery in a few minutes. Not only, somehow they managed to see this one as well. Not sure how. Maybe fired from next to it, or maybe it was a recon or something. But yeah, all the FOBs are going, and then all this massive overinvestment in artillery is not going to pay off. Red are beginning to help their team out now. We see some units from K1, and I mean, I know Piotr's been there for a while. FOBs down, and there you go. There goes your massed artillery. I mean, that one was about to run out anyway. These ones were still up. Basically, you gotta, like, the burritos weren't using the FOBs, they were using, like, localized supply. I suppose it's being resupplied by these helicopters, which are taken from the FOB. Oh. Well, I'm not sure what was there that was so important. I thought he was going on this. I mean, he did get a unit there. So, yeah, I mean, Red needs some infantry here, really. I guess they're getting that in their IFVs, and they've got the Pulachikis and stuff. A helicopter back here would be extremely useful, because it would stop the enemy armor pushing, because this is only 2,650. Oh, here it is, actually, whereas this is 2,800, so you see how useful it is being, forcing the enemies back there. That's probably not getting home. Although, the Cubs seem to be out of ammo. Down he goes. And yeah, can hear burritos. I'm not sure where it's going. Oh, okay, he's going for the Challenger. If he drove it a bit closer, it'd have a better chance there. Looks like it's not going to get it. But now he's been spotted, right? Because somebody's shooting him. Oh, he gets side shot there, and he's gonna go down here. Yeah. So now it's plus to Red, and this isn't really. I mean, Blue, they get in there. I mean, they're just. Like, there's a lot more units here, clearly. It's basically down to 2 players here pushing again. And it's being defended by 2 players. Sort of. I mean... but yeah, Blue have managed to get in a bit. I see the mortars have stopped. I mean, like... Basically, you sort of move the smoke back. So you use the smoke to isolate enemy positions so that you can shoot him without his mate shooting you, right? And then you move the smoke back, like, so that the next place to smoke could be here, right? And then your infantry sort of covered. See the smoke orders coming in there. That works as well if you're in a defensive position and the enemy isn't, right? I mean, basically what they need to do is just get this smoked off and then get a CV up here. They've taken this corner. It would be nice if they could get the stingers up, but until the smoke's up, they can't move here. So yeah, it could be cool to smoke where he's smoking, or you could just smoke here, right? Although that splits your own forces, so yeah, smoking back here probably smarter. So yeah, the enemy isn't really reacting very well to the smoke, they're just driving forwards and getting side shot. Interesting. That's actually going to make it out. A lot of that is to do with the fact that these AA pieces, a lot of them are out of ammo. That shouldn't have made it past there. 101st player buying 105 artillery. Yikes. You sort of forced to for smoke if you want that smoke, I think. But generally, the 255s should be your bet. Although I guess they're dead. I mean, I don't see them anymore. I did buy them at the start. Oh, they're all the way back here. Haven't been counter-batteried. 105mm are really bad, as are the Gvozdikas, which I now see 3 of. And now this guy's buying 2 Acacias. I don't think he's noticed that all his stuff coming down this road keeps dying. And his fob died, which means that the enemy is in your backline because he knows where the fob is. But there's not really been any attempt to just buy a couple helicopters and send them over here and see what's going on. Like, what is he doing? So just like a lack of paying attention here from Red. Like, you know the fob's dead. How did the fob die? Should be your first thought process. Like, he's going to lose these Acacias here to the air rifles. The T-80 BKs will probably just kill the air rifles just from the attack move order. Down they go. But yeah, the T-80 BKs will probably survive this. I don't know. I mean, you just got to. If you lose your fob, that means there's baddies around, unless you fired from next to it. Having said this, Red is still winning somehow. Blue, for all their effort, as we spoke about, this is just not a not an easy position to attack. So. Like, this guy still has rockets. Well, I think that tank is going to be okay. And yeah, they just, as soon as the fob got hit, they should have known about this. Really, they should have had a recon helo like back here or something, covering this whole side to defend the fobs, and on this side as well. You can't just let people get in your backline and shoot your fobs. Yeah, lots of artillery not really doing anything. This has just been queued up. If you buy artillery, you want it to be working for you all the time, otherwise what's the point? You just wasted all those points, right? It's like sort of hiring an employee and then they don't do anything all day. They just sit at home, pretending to work from home, watching hippie YouTube videos. I know none of you guys do that. Anyway, this I mean, he's trying to get it in. I don't really think this guy's going to make it. Like, I can see they're trying to push this axis, which is probably a bit more intelligent. Although if you push over here, then you can, you know, you should be able to see the CV and kill that. But they're dead set on pushing this zone. And if you want to push this zone, yeah, you could use the trees here, push up to here, and then you could just smoke this and run in. The problem is that the enemy start MLRSing you, so you've got to smoke a wide area, like, you know, here, here, and here, and then hide it here, so that they'll shoot the smoke, like they don't know where to put their rockets. But this is just a lot of, so I mean, like T-80UD, no vet, and he's just brought it in against a CFV, and it's just getting shot, and he's not really paying attention here. He is bailed out. I don't believe it. I mean, yeah. It didn't deserve to live anyway, it was mismicroed. So he's going to lose these 2 UDs, and this is just lack of micro, really. So this thing is sat in the corner, it's probably going to be fine. Still +1 for Red with 8 minutes left. But this, I mean, this is a 2 zone, so if Blue can get a guy in here, then they can win this. And they are getting a guy, right? There's only a 300 point difference. You know, like that. Okay, so that is dead on it, so it should kill it, really. I mean, it depends on the, what? Depends how much shooting they do, I mean. But yeah, imagine if this guy was in here, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Obviously, there's a lot of smoke here. And yeah, just, you know, counter battery your enemy's smoke mortars, please. Not sure what was there. It's clearly not there anymore. Might have been the AA position. Do see BMP2 destroyed, but that was over here. So, blue, they're making their way in. I mean, this might get in here. What happened to that helo? They probably flew too close and got hit by all the stingers. But basically, you know, you just keep the helo, right, and you just move it back. It gets shot. Go repair it, bring it back. And just always have it just at the max range. So as the tanks move forwards, they get hit. And the enemy has to do a lot of work bringing up their AA with their tanks. Which you know, people find it quite hard to do. The AA is usually quite far behind. I mean, stingers, these are actually pretty close, to tell you the truth. But yeah, you could certainly get it up to there, but you risk being artied and stuff. Like, there probably was one there and then it got artied. Anyway, so they're going to get the CV in now. Probably, maybe. So it depends if this AT2 goes on the right target. I guess I can't actually see this. Okay, burrito. I mean, imagine if these burritos were over here. Wouldn't that be cool? Anyway, presumably this is going on the CV one. No, he's going on the Bradley. This guy does have a good RPG. The problem is he's put him on a move order instead of an attack move order. So when he gets to here, he's not actually just going to shoot that. Alright, I guess he couldn't see the CV. And, yeah, Stinger's not really all that. Basically, they need yeah, they've got an Eyehawk. They need the Eyehawk to be moved up to about here. And the Stingers need to be with this push. Like, they need to be in these front thing. I mean, these two are pretty close, but these 5 aren't really doing anything. 101st players trying to send more around the side because Red, having noticed the problem, haven't actually done anything to rectify it, so it's just going to happen again. Red somehow being pushed out of these zones. I don't know if they actually saw this, but if it did, they should arty it, right? This guy just, because he's on an attack move order, he's not actually running there because of the chin-up. He is in there now. I mean, what? Is anybody paying attention in this game? I mean, they could definitely see that rover. Are they going to do anything about it? I suppose this is where the big fight's happening. 5 minutes left here. Yeah, 3 infantry in 1 house, not very intelligent. Cubs without ammo for about 10 minutes now, not very intelligent. Anyway, that rover moved before it got killed. And yeah, okay, so here we go. So the armed 70s have now turned their attention over here. And they are doing some decent work here. But I mean, honestly, like you see how like many people blew through at this. They threw so many people at this that they lost both of the zones in the middle. And then they spent like 20 minutes trying to get in this zone, and that is just because attacking these +2s is really difficult. You're right next to the enemy spawn. Nice big open fields, right? They have finally got this guy in here. You'd expect I mean, oh, these Vaquedas have Gustavs, so yeah, they're side shot in there. You can see they got a backup CV, which is good news. I mean, the fact that like the red guys really should have had units here as well. You don't let the enemy. Like, blue were good to take this, but red, I mean, they've got all this stuff just not doing anything. If they had this, none of this would be happening because you just put your mega ATGMs here and it all dies. But there you go, +2 to blue. Red, they're trying to. No, they got the CV here actually. They just got it with that burrito. This guy's still alive. T80BK is probably going to die. Oh, did it drop its bombs? No. Right. There's a lot of CVs here. Backups and so on. I mean, but they're not in the zone. They're stood outside the zone. So much AA here, just out of ammo, and has been for ages, so this Hellam now has nothing to stop it. The Iltis is in here. The BMP2 should really be killing that. I suppose it got into the smoke or something. So there goes that +2. There's 3 minutes left. I mean, he could move it back in. The smoke's back, but really, the fact that this has just been allowed to sit here and smoke the whole game, and there are so many arty pieces on the enemy team, and none of them have been used. This is pretty funny. I do wonder what he's doing. Like, what's the point of that? But, you know, it's something, I guess. Anyway, yeah, red's still on that +1. I mean, they've bought a bunch of igloos now. That challenge is looking pretty... Do not clump your units up. And yeah, lots of guys getting side shot here. It's very difficult to push... I mean, blue were good to take this part, but basically they should have also taken this part. But the fact of the matter is, this was just like not understanding. I mean, they just should not have come for this at all. It was just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. It's all the way over there. They should have put all their efforts into mid. And so, I mean, there's only 2 minutes left, and there's not a big point difference here, but it's looking like red's going to win. And a lot of that is just due to the way they played. They were just like, well, the way blue played, really. Blue threw this game. They should have put their efforts into the points in the middle, as opposed to trying, like, by all means, try a surprise attack down here, but once it starts slowing down, switch your attention into mid, and use the fact that you've pushed up into this incredibly forward position, right? So if you're pushed up to here, great, but you use that to get over here, right? And then once you're over here, you're taking both these zones, basically, because you just roll in the flanks. You're getting guys in here, they're shooting everything in this zone. If you manage to get to here, you're shooting everything in that zone. But instead, they were just like, we need this, we need this, we need this, and they threw it all away, basically. So, yeah, it's very sad, very sad. You know, what is there to say? It's very sad. And that's why that sad music was playing there. That definitely wasn't me getting auto-logged off RuneScape or anything. So that CV's going down, which is going to stop that tick. And with 30 seconds left, you know, this might get in there, but it's not really going to do that, is it? I mean, that was a nice try on the Gvozdikas, I guess. What a game. What a game. Certainly a video game. That was definitely a Warno game there. It was a game of Warno right there. I suppose he had vision on these because of the arrow rifles, right? Yeah. So lots to learn from, you know, play the map properly. So, okay, so 253 games, 5 games. Oh, okay. He played very well for a man with 5 games. Wow. 61 games, 38 games, 596 games, 169 games, 74 games, and 220 games. So a relatively low level lobby. I mean, we got to point this out, right? So you got to look to this and say, oh, this guy got loads of kills, and he did, and it's good to get loads of kills. But you know, if he had, instead of just smacking his face against that back point, if he just rolled over to the side and taken those middle points, he would have won, and maybe his KD would have been a bit worse, right? Because he would have been maybe getting side shot as he moved sideways, but his team would have won that game. So I hope you learned something. I'll see you around. GG.